Maybe we can start with Greta. I've seen you call her Saint Greta of climate change. Obviously, at Oxford, Peter Thiel had a number of comments to say about her as well. Why do you think she has been so effective in terms of becoming the face and the voice of the climate change movement?
You can't criticize her.
Interesting.
That's
Explain.
why. Well, she's a child, right? So what, you're going to pick on a vulnerable autistic child? Were you some kind of monster? Right? It's a very effective shield against criticism and discussion and debate. And if you think about what she did, it's not like she went around educating people about the climate. That wasn't her role. Her role was to chastise people. Her role was to say, come back to the ideology that we talked about earlier. It's almost like a religious cult. Whether you, and I'm not talking about climate change, I'm talking about the ideology of net zero and reducing consumption and all of this stuff, right? Because climate change is a separate thing. That's a scientific matter. How you deal with it is also a scientific matter, but it's also a matter of logic. Like, as I said in my speech, if we produce 2% of global carbon emissions, it doesn't matter if we turn the lights off and never turn them again. Turn them on again. It's not going to make any difference, right? So the fact that people are demanding that we make ourselves really poor all of a sudden, that is not a rational demand. That is not a rational thing. And how do you get people to do irrational things? Well, you can't persuade them rationally. So you have to emotion, blackmail, whatever it is, right? And a child who is upset and crying on stage is the perfect method by which to achieve that emotional impact, right? So I have no issue with Greta Thunberg herself. I think she's a child that has been badly let down by her parents and other adults around her who have encouraged her to go down this path, which I think in the end will turn out to have been quite harmful for her, I'm afraid. So that's my take on her. I just think she's being used by people for their own political purposes.
I saw the video of her being arrested, and I'll kind of put that, maybe in air quotes. What I think surprised me was not her or others trying to get photo ops. I think that most of the times we see content, I always ask myself, why are we seeing this and why now, right? Actually, it was more so the participation of the police. I think I was saying to myself, what is going on? Are those real police officers, right? Why are they doing this? Why are they participating? And so I don't know if you have any thoughts there in terms of, what seemed to be kind of photo op made, situations, but it was also with what appears to be real police officers. Like, do you have a read on that?
No, not really. I don't know enough about it, to be honest.
Yeah. The other thing that you did, as I mentioned, was you wrote a piece on why they hate Jordan Peterson. And he seems to be on the opposite end of the spectrum from a Greta Thunberg in terms of at least society's response and also, I think, a certain type of individual who is drawn to that message. Why do they hate Jordan Peterson?
There are many reasons, of course. There's always, it's not a one thing. But I think that, look, I need to preface this because it's important, because the Cliff Notes version is they hate him because he wants men to be better. And he has a positive message for men. But I don't believe that, the answer for men is to whine and complain. Right. So I'm not into men's rights movements because I just don't think, more than anything else, I don't think they're effective. Forget about how they behave and the morality and the whatever. I don't think people, we're biologically different and we're programmed to have sympathy for women and we're programmed to consider men disposable. That is the biological reality. You're not going to change it. Men creating movements where they protest and complain about the rights isn't going to change anything. Men just have to be better and work harder and, look after their own interests. And one of the things about the interests of men is to find women who want to be with them and who don't hate men, right? That's really how you solve that problem at an individual level. But the reason they hate Jordan Peterson is he came out and he unapologetically wanted men to be better. He wanted everyone to be better. And that's one of the other reasons they didn't like him, of course. But also he challenged the ideology. And the reason I say this, people will think I'm being sort of conspiratorial or whatever, but if you cast your mind back to the Cathy Newman interview and all of that, he did also an interview for GQ with a woman called Helen Lewis, who's interviewed me. And they all, I don't remember if she asked him this specifically, but lots of other journalists all kept saying to him, yeah, but the majority of your audience are men. What is that? Like it was a bad thing. No one goes to a cosmetics company and says, the majority of your audience are women. Why is that? Because there's nothing wrong with women, but there's something wrong with men in their worldview. And we hear it in the language of wokeness. You're just a straight white man. You're a toxic masculinity. You're toxic this, toxic that. And I think the reason that Jordan Peterson came under attack is because not only was he trying to tell men and women, but particularly men, to be better, he also embodied traditional masculine virtues that people don't want to see men exhibit in the world.
What do you think, like, the one or two top masculine attributes are that people don't want to see?
Confidence, strength, right? Someone who's not going to back down, someone who's going to, fight his corner all the way. Again, because people are stupid, I have to say this. I'm not saying women can't be strong and confident, right? But we don't like to see men express those things. If you look at movies, if you look at television shows, if you look at stand-up, the guy is always the goof, the idiot, the this, the that. It's weak, pathetic, and the woman is the girl boss and whatever. That's what apparently these people want to see. So they didn't want to see a guy who would come along and go, actually, no, you're wrong about that. And I'm gonna make the argument, and I'm gonna argue the case, and I'm gonna persuade you. And if you don't agree with me, well, you're wrong. Like, they don't want to see that. They want to attack him and then for him to back down.